Greetings and peace and love, everybody. My name is Ram Hotep L. Coming back at you with another episode, another segment, broadcasting on behalf of the number 13 SignsAstrology.com. Got something real special for you guys this evening where I'm at. Uh, got a special segment. We're going to be doing an interview with the female light worker. And a lot of you guys are already familiar with Sister Ka, is her name. You guys are already familiar with her. And she's going to come back on the channel, but we're going to bring her back on in an interview format this time to kind of reintroduce her and to kind of like basically let you guys get familiar with who she is, the spirit that's in her. Very beautiful sister, young sister, not even 22 years old yet, and has deep knowledge, deep wisdom. And you know, we in the time of the feminine principle. We're in the time of the shift, and it's time for a lot of the females to take the stage now. So as I've been telling you guys, that it's going to be a lot more feminine energy on this channel, and this is just the beginning. So really excited myself. We really kind of just decided to do this cold turkey, so this is not planned or whatever. So this is going to be pretty interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get her on the line, because I don't even have her on the line. So you guys be patient with me. I'm going to get her on the line, and we're going to start in a few moments. Greetings, Sister Ka. Okay, we got you on the line. I'm going to go ahead and put you on speaker. Give me 1 second. Can you hear me pretty good?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, hopefully the listeners can hear you, I'm pretty sure. So, we know you've been on the channel before, but I want you to just reintroduce yourself and, you know, just tell the listeners your name and your background and your age. Just tell us more about you.
Hello, my name is Ka. I'm 21. I reside in Dallas. Um, I love the occult and esoteric things. As I have a lot of darkness in my natal chart with Scorpio and Ophiuchus. And I'm really interested in the things that are unseen. So that's kind of how I got into 13 signs astrology, and taking the light worker course really helped me to understand myself better and know myself better than what I did previously.
That's great. How long have you been studying these things? Tell the listeners how long you've been studying.
I actually started studying around last May of last year. I started getting into meditation first because I was getting away from religion and my belief systems were crumbling internally. So I started seeking other things to put my faith into, and it made me gain more knowledge about spirituality, starting with meditation. And then gradually I got more and more interested in the darker things and the more, not necessarily darker, but the more deeper things in the occult that people usually don't want to get into or are afraid to look into. I was very interested in them when I started studying.
Yeah, you did a video called the metaphysics of the mind, and I mean the listeners loved it. I mean, and that's what we're going to kind of center this brief interview around, is just the deeper, darker aspects of things. Like we're going to talk a little bit about the Kundalini and just a few things that's happening on this planet. And a lot of people, they don't really know about the Kundalini. I mean, you know, we hear the term thrown around, but a lot of people really don't understand what the Kundalini is, because it's something that we can't see. And you know, as humans, we're all caught up on what we can see. And I mean, this sister right here, the
Yeah.
Sister Ka, she's definitely a person that has a overstanding, I would say, of the unseen. I mean, she knows a lot about the unseen. So this is why I mean, I don't just bring lightweights to the channel. She's definitely a heavyweight in her class. So going to get right into it. I got a few questions for you just to kind of introduce these topics, and I'm sure it's going to spark more interest to the listeners, and we're going to have you back on the channel a million times over, I'm pretty sure. So this is only the beginning. So tell us more about from a feminine perspective, tell us more about the Kundalini. What is the Kundalini to you? I mean, it doesn't have to be a textbook definition or anything like that. Just tell us more about it.
For me, personally, Kundalini energy is magic. It's magic in our bodies. There's ways to be directed. I know it revolves around the lower three chakras, but I've realized from my experience that higher chakras are connected to the lower chakras in different ways than what most people know or understand. So Kundalini awakening affects you in a way that makes you have to reorganize your life, your priorities, and really focus on the internal aspects of yourself. In my mind, the Kundalini energy is essential to life. It is life. Without the Kundalini energy, we wouldn't be headed into this new rhythm. We wouldn't be in this new rhythm already because we're already in the vortex. I believe, and I know that the Kundalini energy for me has really changed my whole perspective of a lot of things about myself. It's humbled me, and it's basically brainwashed me. Actually washed my brain of some old things of what brain thinking and patriarchal thinking that I had been programmed with. So I think it's a powerful, it's a powerful killer and life bringer at the same time. It
Mm.
destroys and it brings life to something new and something more advanced for everyone,
Wow.
including the planet.
Wow. You are absolutely right, Sister Ka. I mean, it's definitely a destroyer and a healer. I mean, and see, a lot of this stuff, like, I don't have to tell this sister anything, and this is why, like, I mean, a lot of this stuff, I didn't teach her this stuff. I mean, she intuitively knows these things, and you can go and get the books. When you start researching Kundalini, they'll tell you that it's a very dark energy, and it does destroy and it does heal. And a lot of people, they just look at the Kundalini on a surface level and they think about the light aspects and the whole healing aspects of it. But what I find out in my journey is that the further up you go and ascend, the darker it gets. So even in dealing with the Kundalini or whatever, like when your Kundalini, the more your Kundalini rises, the more darker your experiences become in life. Because the more your Kundalini rises, it puts you into a situation where you're to yourself. You're kind of isolated. Like, you're in a class of your own. So it definitely is dark and light all at the same time. So that was a great definition of that. Now, in dealing with this light and dark, like I talk a lot about light workers and dark workers on the channel and things of that nature. And when I talk about it, it's probably from a male perspective. Some people may say it's from a patriarchal perspective. So let's get the feminine perspective and the feminine demonstration of what a female light worker or dark worker is. Like, tell us more about that from your perspective. It doesn't have to be textbook. Just tell us, because I know you know. You took the classes, and not only that, you know. So what is a female light worker? What is a female dark worker?
Well, taking a light worker course really taught me a lot about myself personally. Um, Finding out that I had so much darkness in my natal chart really, it didn't surprise me, but it did surprise me at the same time because I didn't realize that there was so much power in the darkness. And that in itself has made my Kundalini awakening very intense. But I think a female light worker has a big responsibility right now at this time on the planet. We have a lot of responsibility on our shoulders as women because the planet is following our lead. It's time for us to wake back up and take our place as the queens that we are, as the royalty that we are. And become communal again. And it's going to take the women to do that, not the men. Men are going to, they're going to follow that reason alone, the female light worker is a big responsibility. That's the first thing. And I know a lot of people stray away from responsibility because they don't want to have to be responsible. It's easier to be careless and carefree. When you have responsibility, you have obligations, and you have to care about those obligations. And that's why it's such a big deal right now that the Kundalini of the planet is rising up. So that's feminine energy in itself. And it's going back into matriarchal society. So women have a lot to work on, a lot of healing to do, and a lot of inner reflection to do, to learn about themselves, because we've been suppressed for so long that now it's like shaking of soda and it's being open. It's about to bubble over, and everyone's gonna feel it. Everyone's gonna feel it, especially the women, because it's gonna change the way that everything works because of this Kundalini energy.
Mm. So tell us, like, okay, you said it's going to be more matriarchal. So what does a matriarchal society look like in comparison to what's going on now? Like, give us some examples, or just kind of make it more plain for us.
In a matriarchal society, I see more community, more togetherness, things flow. They're not compartmentalized the way that uh, the government has things now. Like, you have to have birth certificate, social security card, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't see that. I see a connection with Mother Nature. I see more of a connection with the planet in general. I see more art, art everywhere. In music, in dance, in painting, any type of expression of your soul. I see that becoming more dominant and more to college, being free, get a job. I, I definitely see a lot more community where like people actually work together, like we buy all our food together and we eat together and we share our resources. So unlike now where you can live next door to someone and even though their house is like a few feet away, like your living room, their living room is like not that far. You don't know them, you don't communicate with them. I don't see that anymore. I see people actually really living and working together and making it unified. Mostly that's what matriarchal people need, more unity. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Mm. Okay. And that kind of leads me to my next question. You already kind of answered it, but I'm gonna go a little bit more in depth and kind of tweak the question a little bit. And I just want to know, so what do you think this feminine energy is going to do to the planet physically? Do you think it's going to physically do anything to the planet?
Definitely, everything is manifested down. It comes from a higher vibration and it trickles down all the way down to the lowest vibration. So every living thing on this planet is going to be affected. And since the planet is alive, it's going to be affected too. I believe it's going to change the I guess the geographical work of the planet, the way the continents are. I believe that everything is going to shift when it's all said and done. It's not just going to be like some places got flooded and some places got tornadoes hit. I really do see a new America. I see a new Earth in my vision. When I visualize the planet, I visualize the planet where there are different, basically just different
So you think the continents are going to come back together again, huh?
Yeah, I think that's what's happening. I think they're like slowly moving back in that direction to where we were, where we once were, just one large landmass. That's what I think is going to happen in my dream. It's going to, it's going to move that together and get it. And some pieces I do believe some pieces are going to go away, but more than that, I think it's about the unification of the planet as a whole. Because the people are just a reflection of that. And if we're coming together, which I know we are as a planet already, then that means that the planet is going to be coming together too. So that's just what I see. What I
Right. And it's, I mean, you're right on point, sister, because I was even doing some research. I mean, and these are scientists that are, been studying this stuff for years. And, the feminine energy comes in and out every 13,000 years. And I was doing some research on some of the older maps that the ancients drew up. And some of these maps are like millions of years old or whatever. And believe it or not, and I know a lot of us think that we can't have maps that are a million years old, but I'm here to tell you something different or whatever, because the ancients been drawing up maps for a long time. And in these maps, you're absolutely right, they show the continents together, and they show that over time these continents drift over time. And say for instance where Antarctica is right now, Antarctica wasn't always at the south point of the South Pole. At one point it was closer to Africa, and it was closer to the center. And then over time, when these shifts happen, kind of like when patriarchy comes in, basically the continents drift, and then when matriarchy comes back in, they come together. So you're absolutely right. Again, you channeled that information without looking at the mundane textbooks and things like that. So I mean, I totally agree with you from my left brain knowledge. So I want to get into like talking about some stuff with popular culture. And I just don't want to make it all about history and science, but I mean, like, what do you think the feminine principle has already came in when it comes to, like, say for instance, Hollywood and the music industry and hip hop and just popular culture in general? Do you think the feminine energy has manifested itself?
I definitely see it has been manifesting itself in a lot of ways. Um, you see it in the feminist movement. Um, Even though I don't agree completely with their uh, their mode of how they're delivering the information of them being a woman, being an empowered woman, I understand that that's a part of the matriarch coming back. I also see it in the media. Like Beyonce has the song "We Run the World," and Black Girls Rock is on BT, and just little things that I noticed um, that people are doing it in the way that things are working out, but they're playing out in the mundane. We know that yes, this energy is coming down very rapidly because of the fact that things are changing in the media. Like, I feel like whenever something's put out in the media like that, that is because it's something that we are supposed to know, that we have to know that they're putting out there for us to either recognize that it's something we need to remember or acknowledge, you know, because if it
Indeed.
wasn't in the news or the media, then it wouldn't be relevant. If Beyonce didn't make the songs "We Run the World," girls, then it may not have been such a big deal, but I do see women changing as a whole as well. I see my sisters taking back their power. You know, there's a lot of strength and power in all of our responsibilities as women. I see how some women are taking that responsibility and carrying their load because it has to be done. It has to be done. And I can see that in my peers, at my age, again, I'm only 21, but I can see with my friends, with people that I meet, way that the parenting that's taking place right now, like my female friends who have children, the way that they're moving, it's so obvious that we are maturing very rapidly, in these higher dimensions because of the way that we're handling ourselves down here. So I definitely see feminine energy and matriarchal energy coming into play in the mundane. Definitely.
And just to kind of like hit this point, because I want to hit this point, like, what's your, like, how can this whole feminist thing, I want to talk about that, like, the feminist movement, because I know a lot of males out there, they kind of have a problem with the feminist movement, and they feel like that's what the feminine energy coming back to the planet is about. So, like, is it going to be about like males following the women, or like what's the
No,
difference
no,
between the
no,
feminist movement? I guess
no.
what my question is, like, what's the difference between the feminist movement and the feminine energy coming back to the planet in your definition?
The feminine energy coming back to the planet is the universe playing itself out. The universe experiencing itself. It's inevitable. The feminist movement is something that we decided to do. Like, as people, we make shit up. It's not really. I don't believe that the feminist movement is productive in that it separates the man and the woman and more than it unifies us in a way. It's like you're trying to empower yourself too much sometimes rather than just empowering women as a whole with the man, with the male, and with the king. We're all supposed to be coming together, but the women do need to be, kind of singled out in a way to where the finger is pointed at them to say, I need you because we are needed. At the same time, you can't get that mixed up with the fact that the planet is about to, or is already in the process of going back to a way of living that's unified. And it's actually kind of a contradiction to compare those two things, like, put them side by side in any way, because a lot of feminist movements aren't for unity. They're for separation and for the woman only specifically. And that's not really what I'm for. I'm for the woman being uplifted and being reminded of who she is. And at the same time, remembering her place and her role as a woman, she will understand she doesn't need to be a feminist, she just needs to be herself. Because in doing that, the matriarchal society comes back naturally without the need for protest and bashing the opposite sex and things of that nature. I don't see those two things the same at all.
That's a good point. I would have never seen it like that. So it's more about unity, because patriarchy does create a lot of disunity. And I mean, I always felt like the feminist movement was a part of like us being disunited more so than being united. Like the feminist movement was birthed from, like I always tell a lot of women out there, when you research it, I mean, it was a man that came up, it was a group of men that came up with that in a think tank anyway. So a lot of it is
And
tied
it
into
sounds
civil
like
rights and things like that. A lot of stuff that we're not really talking about here, but that's a good point. It's about unity. Matriarchy is about unity. I agree. Now let's get. I want to get into like talking about a fucus before we shut the video down. And a fucus is a very interesting sign, because most of the signs in astrology are either masculine or feminine. When you research a fucus, you'll find out that it's both. It's masculine and feminine as far as the polarity, because a fucus exists at what's called 0 point. And right now we're in a time of a fucus. We're at that 0 point in the zodiac. And then when we go into Sagittarius, we go to the next step or whatever. But right now we're at that 0 point. So do you as a woman, because I like to ask women these type of questions, because like you guys, I mean, you women, you feel things more than us males do. Do you feel a difference, like when we go through a fucus, like say from the time of November the 29th up until December the 18th? I mean, I know you've been observing this thing for the past 2 years now. So do you feel a difference like when we're in this time? Honestly, like do you feel like a difference when we go through this Fucus time when the sun transits to
I
Fucus?
definitely feel, I feel a big difference, especially this year. It's been very intense and it's been very spiritual. The veil has been lifted and everyone is aware of it. They're just not constantly and not acknowledging that and admitting it to themselves that something major is happening and something major is changing and in this at this particular point in time is very intense. I think people are a little afraid of what it could mean, so they may not want to acknowledge the things they feel, but because I'm so sensitive, I pick up on everyone's energy, and I can feel and I can tell this energy is affecting everyone at this time as the sun is now beautiful. With my moon being in that placement, I'm already very sensitive, very deep and emotional and watery and all those things in my nails start to make me up. So it's a fucus, it's undeniable. You recognize it, you feel that energy, and you have to respect it. You have to respect it and acknowledge it as well. It was okay because, for a while you could get away with it saying it was Scorpio because Scorpio is a dark sign too and it's very intense, but it's not a
All right. So tell us more. That's gonna be my last question. Actually, it's kind of funny you brought that up. But Sister Ka, she has a moon and a Fucus, and for a woman, like really, the moon in general is downplayed in astrology. The moon is you're very much your moon sign, like throughout the day, more so than your sun sign, because your moon sign kind of governs your day to day emotions and your emotional state. You know, our emotions kind of dictate our life, whether we want to admit it or not. So when you talk about moon and a Fucus, like give us some examples of like what it's like to have a moon and a Fucus from your point of view.
cool. Having a moment of beauty, it's a gift, it's a big gift, and it's such a big responsibility because there's so much power within the sign itself, and with it being in my moon, and with my moon being in it, it makes everything intense. Um, I can come off as very mysterious, as at the same time attracting. Like I'm constantly pulling people towards me that need something, need some type of healing. I feel that I'm a natural healer. I have a deep, deep, deep need to die and be reborn. And that comes from my moon of Fucus and my Venus in Scorpio. So I have a lot of transforming to do at this time in this life. And I have lots of emotional situations. A lot of people don't understand that, you know, if you come off as not so friendly, that it's not because you're not friendly, it's just because that's the way that you're made up astrologically. And I am one of those people who is easy to me and to talk to, but you may not recognize that immediately upon seeing me, because I can give off an energy that's pretty dark, and I like that about myself, so I appreciate that because it keeps away a lot of bullshitters. I can see through a lot of things, a lot of things that most people wouldn't pick up on. I pick up on them, and for that reason, it can make me seem pessimistic a lot. However, I'm not. I'm just a person who's experienced a lot, and a person who doesn't have to experience every little thing to know it or to understand it. So having my moon of Fucus is like a big bonus, and at the same time, it's a big load because I have to go through so many emotional things in order to become a healer, you have to go through this play. This is the script of a lunar Ophiuchian. You can't get around it. You have to have emotional drama in your life to get your war wounds, so that you can come back and heal other people. So that's pretty much it. I feel like I don't do things for the approval of other people. I don't do things to try to fit in or be with the group thing. I'm very much happy alone, but I don't like to be lonely. But if you just as a sign itself is a sign that tends to be that way because of the fact that they're so distrustful of people naturally. You have to win over our trust, pretty much.
I already know. I can relate to that 100%. With that Pisces moon, you already know that about me personally. So, but like Fucus was like left out, of the zodiac. So this is why it's like very much comfortable with being a loner, because Fucus kind of came at the last minute, and it really brought in the shift though. Because if you notice when Fucus was introduced to popular culture, which was in 2011, that's when everything really started to change on this planet. Anyway, so it's only right that a Fucus moon sister like yourself, is a person that's responsible for helping to bring in this feminine energy on 13soundsastrology.com. So, I mean, it's been an exciting few minutes that we've been discussing things, and I mean, I'm sure that the listeners are going to want to have you back. So, look forward to many more talks and conversations and even videos, so we can hear your voice a lot clearer. Coming real soon.
Definitely.
Do you got anything else you want to say to the listeners before we shut it down?
Yes, I love to say I love you all, and thank you so much for being so gracious with me in my first video, because I didn't know what I was doing. I was just doing me, and I appreciate everyone who can love my way and to 13 times astrology for giving me the opportunity to share what little knowledge I have, because I really don't know anything at all. So I thank everyone, and I love you all. I really want to wish everyone positive, powerful, uplifting energy at this time, because we all can use it.
Indeed. Well, it was good speaking with you, sister, and you're going to hear from me when everything is done, when I'm done wrapping this up. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this video down and hang up with you, and I'll give you a call back. And it was good speaking with you. Thank you. We'll speak soon. Peace. So there you have it. Sister Kai coming back at you with another episode, another segment. I don't have too much more to say because she dropped it all. So I'm going to leave you as I always do, in peace. And until we meet again, Hotep. Namaste.